It's still.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Tribe Forex Power Hour. I'm Marcello, and with me here is Nino, a pro Forex trader. And today is February 20th, 2014. We're going to do today what I have done for years, which is an analysis of the markets and evaluation of our strategies, which are based upon the 5 p.m. Eastern Time close of our daily bars and our 4-hour bars. We do this because we believe it gives us a higher probability of success, especially from a swing trading perspective. So, having said that, first we're going to cover how it works. How do we make money? We're going to go get into our daily market analysis, and if there are any trades that we have been in, we're going to talk about those trades very briefly as well. So our formula for success is actually very simple. After 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we will get in and do our market analysis to determine the bias. What is the bias? The bias is the probability that price will go up or down. If we have a sell bias, that means that we have a probability that we'll have a bigger maximum favorable excursion to the sell side than to the buy side, and vice versa. All right, so how do we execute these trades? Either we take a set and forget it trade that we take once per night based upon our bias, or on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Nino's actually he rolls up his sleeves and gets dirty, if you will, at 1 a.m. Eastern Time and also 8 a.m. Eastern Time, where he will do day trading. And now the thing about the day trading is that it gives you the opportunity to leverage your profits. All right, so what we have is we've got the opportunity at 1 a.m. Eastern Time and 8 a.m. Eastern Time. That means you cover the European markets, and you also you cover the New York Open as well, where you're able to trade in the direction of our bias once again using what we call pods. Now, if you don't know what a pod is, go into our free website, tribeforex.com, and there is a link above for our day trading course. So we've got a trading course. It's free. You can go there. You can review the videos. You can take advantage of the materials, and then you can ask us any questions you may have about the system. It's really straightforward, it's simple, and it is battle tested and proven. Okay, so we had a great session. Nino actually just made 70 pips, I believe, off of the euro drop. We actually called an ambiguous trade on that particular ambiguous bias, which means that we didn't have a sell or a buy. We're going to look for certain cues that would give us they would basically tell us whether we had a buy or a sell trade, and we got that to the sell side, and he did take that sell trade. Congratulations, Nino. That was actually a really brilliant trade that you had taken there on the euro dollar. We also had opportunities, and we had trades on other currencies as well. We called, and I'm going to get into it right now, we called trades on the pound dollar, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. I think we called it on the euro yen, pound yen, and the dollar yen as well. So let's talk about the euro dollar really quickly. Really, guys, what we had is we had a potential. We went right up to this trend line right here to the top, and then basically price went up there, tested it, and really came down to this lower trend line. Now, we didn't have that lower trend line plotted at the time. Now we do. We've got 1, 2, 3, and now 4 touches. We could have had that there on the euro dollar. We didn't quite have it there. And so now what do we have? We've actually got this very narrowing consolidation, which is going out of this contraction. Is going to be a breakout eventually as we get into the apex. Now, we don't necessarily expect it to come tomorrow in tomorrow's trading session, just because we don't have a ton of news. Isn't that right, Nino?
That's correct. We don't have a lot of news for tomorrow.
We don't have a ton of news for tomorrow, but we do have, we do have some currency pairs that are going to show us some clear trades, and those one of those is not the euro dollar here. I think that we have. Yes.
The only news I see that we might have tomorrow that could maybe help with the breakout out of that apex there is at 145. We have the FOMC. Remember, speak right around 145 is a possibility. If we don't get that breakout around that time, then basically we should see it sometime at the early part of next week.
Great, exactly. So very well said. We do have the FOMC meeting minutes that will take place tomorrow at 1:45, and so that would probably be the only news that we could possibly see some movement here. And I don't have a clear bias as far as the euro dollar is concerned. I feel as though right where we are, we have strong support, strong resistance, and we could see some interplay, and we don't have a tremendous amount of news to get us out of that. So we could see, you know, we just don't have a very clear bias for the euro dollar here, so we're not going to call anything on the euro dollar. Pound dollar, I'm going to dare say the same thing. Now, look, we have had multiple touches, 1, 2, 3 touches here. I think that you can see, if you see an opportunity here, you can take it. I think there's room for on the sell side here on the pound dollar. We have stopped, though, repeatedly at this very, very strong area of support, which is at 166.50. And so you got to keep that in mind, that we've stopped at that 166.50 point. We've tested it 3 times, okay, so far. So basically here, price after it tried to retrace beyond that 166.50 and used it as a trampoline, if you would if you will, and really continued up to the upside. Then we had the next day, which was February 18th, where price tested that 166.50 area and did not break through again on February 19th. And here we actually got a nice little push below and came right back up and closed right at 166.50. We could see both a buy and a sell on this, just standing where we are. And once again, we have a very similar formation here. We have very, very acute trend lines, and those don't really, they're not extremely strong, and they're built off the daily. They're not built off the weekly. What we do have, though, that is very clear to us, is that we have our channel, and our channel is still very, very strong. Now, the movement that we have in that channel, we really can't say what's going to happen there. We stopped at 166.50, though, guys, and right now I'm looking at it. If you do see a nice, I think we can get back to this 23.6 fib area, which is at 166.90 or so. We may get to 166.90, and you may see a push down off of it looking at it right now. But I'm not going to give a bias on this, and I would not take a set and forget it on this particular trade. Now, if you want to trade this all night, look at 166.90. I think that's a very good place to look for a potential sell. So 166.87. 166.87, start looking for a sell at that point. Look for reversal candles. Talk to Nino if you need to know exactly what to look for to be able to get into that sell. Okay, and that's where we stand on the pound dollar. So we have no bias on that. Now the New Zealand dollar, we do think that there's a potential for a buy here on the New Zealand. We had a very strong reversal candle that was formed right off of the 50 EMA. We do think that there's a potential for a nice bounce potentially right off of that 50 EMA again, or a push back to the upside where we could get a retest and an opportunity for a sell. I'm sorry, for a buy here. So we've got a buy bias here on the New Zealand dollar. That's a little bit stronger. Could have a 30 pip retracement and then a push north. Okay? And so that is the New Zealand dollar, and I think there's an opportunity there. The thing about the New Zealand and the Aussie dollar is that you've got to take your set and forget it trades earlier than later, obviously, because they move in the Asian session. So I'll try to get this video up as quickly as possible. So also the Aussie dollar, we've got the same kind of formation. We've got a bounce right off of the 50 EMA, test of the 50 EMA below it. It provides support for us. And we also have nice trend line, actually 1, 2, 3 touches, and now this 4th test of that trend line. We could see price push up, and we could see price push up from where we are. We could see push up about 50 pips or so, okay, and really get back to this high, where the high of this channel that we have formed here on the Aussie dollar, okay. And I guess, really, guys, honestly, to be real with you, we do see a potential for the Aussie dollar to reach back to these highs at 92.25. Okay, so we're going to be looking for that, and this could potentially be a good move. Now, the short-term trend is clearly up. Okay, and so that's what we'll be looking for from here. to see where price is going to go. So we have a buy bias on the Aussie dollar, and I think that could be a bounce potentially right off of your best entry, I think, is at 89.78, either at present values or at 89.78. I'll be looking for a buy on the Aussie dollar. By the way, guys, we took a sell on the Aussie dollar for the last 2 days. So yesterday we took a sell at 90.25, and you can see from 90.25 price hit a low of 89.35. So it's about 90 pip move that we had the opportunity to make some profit. If you're a part of our Build Wealth program, then you did make that profit automatically. Didn't have to do anything with that. We're looking for a buy here now on the Aussie dollar. So watch out for that, guys, going forward. We called a sell on the New Zealand for the last few days as well. So we had a sell on February 18th, had a sell on February 19th, and we actually had a sell on February 20th. Okay, and we knew that we were going to potentially bounce off this 50, and you can see that price still had a nice maximum favorable excursion of about 30 pips of its 60 possible pips that it could have made from where it is. Okay, so it went total 70 pips, but it did go down 30 pips for us, and that was very good trading for us for those last few days on the New Zealand dollar. Okay, Euro Yen. Guys, we called a sell on the Euro Yen. It was kind of ambiguous as one of those trends. Actually, the Euro Yen was the one that we did not want to take. We wanted to be careful with that one. And so I think we actually didn't call a trade on the Euro Yen there. But we did call a trade on the Dollar Yen sell, and that did work out for us. And you can see, guys, that there's a nice area, nice trend line here that's formed under this Dollar Yen. Beautiful, and it's holding quite nicely. And there are a few trend lines that we can draw to the upside. So there are a few areas of support and resistance that we can draw here. You can see that we're in an apex, and so in the next couple of days we're looking for price movement here on the Dollar Yen. So we may actually see price push up above this first apex right back into our bigger pennant here. Okay? So you can probably look for a buy here on the Dollar Yen next few days. Pound Yen, same thing. We're going to look to the upper channel. We came down to the lower channel in the 50% fib area, and we're going to look for it to get back up to 171.58. We may get a bounce off the low if you want to be careful, you want to be conservative, off of 169.59. If you can get a bounce there on a lower time frame, you know, reversal candle, hammer, railroad tracks, etc., that would be a very good place to look for it. But that won't manifest until later on in the day. Okay, so just for the sake of looking at oil, we're going to look at oil here, just because we had been tracking it as it hit the 800. That was a point of decision and a good place to look for a potential trade. And I really don't have anything to say about this. We had a double bottom here, and you can see a breakout. We may see price push back down and really retest this 800 MA that it broke out of earlier, because clearly it has acknowledged that this is an area of resistance, and now is going to be our support area. So look for that to come back down to 100.75, and then we can see price continue upward. That would be a great place to get into in a price there, because we can see it go back up to to the 110 area. Especially if you see dollar weakness. All right, the dollar Swiss is actually easier for us to take a look at here, because we have this very strong trend line underneath 1, 2, and 3 touches. Now, guys, yesterday we had this first touch here, and it was a hammer, and we called a buy on this dollar Swiss. And you can see here that price went right down to that trend line. Okay, so between these 2 points, we had a trend line. We had a price bounce off of 0.8850, basically. Went to 0.8858, bounced straight up, and that's where we are. So, you know, this is a very strong area of support at 88.60, basically. So if you see price come down to 88.60, it's a good place to look for a buy to keep us going in this flag formation and a continuation to the upside. Okay, so I would call a buy on the dollar Swiss. So to recap, Euro dollar, not so much. I'm not calling that. Pound dollar, I'm also not sure about that. Not really solid as far as the bias is concerned, although these both can go to the sell side, so you can watch for that. And if you're solid and you're given to taking a trade, if you're committed to taking a trade on the euro or the pound, look for a possible sell opportunity as we get into probably the European and New York session is where I would really look for it. New Zealand dollar and Aussie dollar are giving us a buy opportunity here. I think the euro yen is ambiguous, so I'm not going to call it. Although I can definitely see a bounce off 38.2 and a push upward on the euro yen as well. Dollar yen, we do have a bias, and currently on that it's going to be a buy. Pound yen is also going to be a buy, and that's it. That's it, folks. So once again, pound and euro, look for a potential sell. No clear bias on that though. New Zealand, Aussie dollar, look for a buy. Euro yen, dollar yen buy, pound yen buy, and dollar Swiss is definitely a buy. That's probably the strongest pair to look at. I would think a clearer signal, I should say, is I'm getting on the dollar Swiss. Okay, and with that, guys, we look forward to seeing you. This will be our last session for the week. We had a very good trading week. We look forward to seeing you on Monday for another edition of the Tribe Forex Power Hour. Guys, be prepared to see Nino in the trade room Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 a.m. Eastern Time, and also at 8 a.m. Eastern Time for the New York session. All the best. Anything that you'd like to throw in there, Nino, at all?
No, just want to tell everybody have a happy and safe weekend, and I'll see you next week in the live trading room.
Awesome. All right, guys. Have a good one. Happy trading. Bye-bye.